All right. I was given this as found in the trash can, and did I want it? I said, yeah. I was interested in just the inductor, nice big fat inductor on this side. So I said, sure. And then I wondered, well, maybe it does something. Maybe I can repurpose it to do something else. So, yeah, what is it? It looks a little bit strange. I did find a data sheet for it though, so let's take a look at that. All right, it is a smart fan, an Omni SD, whatever. So what it does is it controls a fan if things get too hot. And then it ramps up the fan if it gets hotter. Let's see here. This is how it's hooked up. You can put two fans on it. They're just wired in parallel, so there's two connections for fans. You put in the power. It reads a thermistor to monitor the temperature, and then it regulates the speed of the fans, okay? Well, how does it regulate the speed of the fans? Well, it increases the speed if you increase the temperature. So as the thing gets hotter, it turns on the fan until it starts at 50% idle, and it ramps it up to 100%. So that's what it does. It's pretty heavy duty though. It can control up to 5 amp fans, okay? So it can output 5 amps. And they come in different models. This particular model is the 24 volt. So it'll control a 24 volt fan up to 5 amps. So 120 watts. So yeah, pretty wild. That's why it has such a big inductor on it. It's got a big FET here to do the pulse width modulation. There is a speed controller here that's also a DC to DC converter type of thing. So, yeah. There's a comparator over here that compares the thermistor with some known setting. You can set it to either 35, 40, or 45 degrees Celsius, and then it'll kick the fan on harder. And then if it goes super fast, and it's still not cooling things down, let's say it goes up to 100% max, and then you're still more than 10 degrees Celsius above the setting, it'll fire an alarm. By alarm, it closes a switch contactor here. It has an optocoupler, and so the optocoupler will turn on, and then you can read that or control a signal or something with that optocoupler if the things are just starting to thermally run away. So it is a cool little function. I don't know if 24 volts is all that handy to me. It may be that I can just use the motor control section and just kind of hack into it. I don't have a schematic for it, but maybe I can hack into it. Yeah. So not quite sure what to do about it. If people are curious, the motor control chip is a UCC 3803. And the FET is a K1416, yeah, K1416. Just a normal N-channel FET. And because it's kind of a boost type of thing, it has the inductor into a big diode and capacitor. So it's just kind of standard stuff. It's got an LM393 comparator, and then it's got a little optocoupler over here. So yeah, that's all there is to it. So I'm still on the fence of whether I should keep it or whether I should just take off a couple parts and throw it in the trash bin. That's what I probably should do instead of just hanging onto it for dear life. I don't think I'll ever use it, so I don't think I will ever use it. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. One interesting thing about it, it's something that I'm not real familiar with. I haven't really worked on industrial controls and stuff for safety reasons and things. Is this capacitor. This capacitor is an interesting capacitor. So you bring in a 24 volt DC input to this thing, and you think, well, what do you connect the ground to? Is it earth ground reference? Is it a floating ground or whatever? And because this thing is pulse modulating, it probably gives off a whole bunch of EMI and stuff, and you might want to like control that, maybe clamp it to ground or something like that. And I think that's what this capacitor does. This capacitor is a 103, so a 0.01. And what it does is it connects the signal ground to earth ground. So this one lug, if you look at these other screw holes here, there's no connection to them, but this one screw hole has a connective pad on it. And all that connective pad does is go through this capacitor to signal ground. So signal ground and earth ground, or chassis ground I should say, signal ground and chassis ground are connected together with a 0.01 capacitor. And it's a fancy one. It's a Y rated, it's X and Y rated. It's X rated to 400 volts and Y rated to 125 volts. So yeah, so go figure. Like I said, haven't really had to deal with that in the past, but I believe it's probably for EMI.